Hi, I'm Lord Tony, and check it out, my computer's glitching. Maybe I can draw a guy. And, yeah, I don't think I can improve it from here. Okay, so today we're going to be messing with this bad boy right here, the Ride Armor. Now, the Ride Armor is one of the most iconic and coolest things in Mega Man X. But if you've ever played the game, you quickly realize that there's only 3 places where you can ride the Ride Armor, and you're kind of stuck from this boundary to like this other boundary that takes you about 6 to 10 seconds to get to. I don't know, I wasn't really counting. Okay, that's it. That's your Ride Armor in that's your Ride Armor experience in Mega Man X. Now there are 2 other places in the game. One of them's in a Sigma level where you go through a hallway, and then the other's in Sting Chameleon's level where you go to the end. You can't take it into a boss. It's basically just a little tech demo thing. It's still pretty cool, but you can't really do much with it. It's like you get 1 minute of Ride Armor time if you're actually playing the game normally. So what I'd like to do is do a little bit more with the Ride Armor. So in order to hack the crap out of it, where I like to start is see if someone else already hacked the crap out of it. So I have found there is a Mega Man X RAM map that I was able to locate through DuckDuckGo, or whatever your search engine of choice is. And it tells me places in memory like X's X position and X's Y position. X's X position. That's a good one. And it also tells me, for some reason, what all the Ride Armor positions are. And that makes it really easy for me to mess around with this stuff. So, theoretically, I could take this Ride Armor and move it over here, or outside of the bounds that they actually want me to bring the Ride Armor, and play with the thing a little bit more than I normally get to. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's crack open the debugger, and inside the debugger we can look at the memory editor. And here's all the memory that Mega Man X is loaded up right now. I'll stick it to auto update so we can see it change. But let's find that X Armor's position, that Ride Armor's X position. I'm going to copy paste that piece right here. Okay, and it looks like that's it, that 128183. So theoretically, if I start messing around with this, oh hey, I warped it. Okay, well, there we go. Just changing that 12 to an 11, warps it over here, and now I've got the Ride Armor out of bounds. But when I take it in here, the graphics get all corrupted. So why would it do that? Why would it corrupt the graphics? It looks like it fights just as well. It's blowing up all the monsters, doing its thing, but the graphics are all mangled. This is great. Anyway, I'm going to blow up this Ride Armor and go to where it's fine. Actually, you know what? Instead of blowing up the Ride Armor, I'll just show you what's going on here. So we can look at the tile viewer if we'd like. And that is also in the debugger menu, which I believe I've already opened. This program's BSNES Plus, by the way, if I hadn't mentioned that yet. It has all of these cool debugging features along with your standard emulator. It's a pretty nice emulator. So let's take a look at the tile viewer. So here is the tile viewer. It is all the tiles that are currently loaded into the game. And I'll make it a little bit bigger so we can see it. Maybe get a 5x here. And then I will put, palette on here. And right now you see the very bottom tile set. These are the tiles loaded into memory. If I set it to auto update, this barrier right here, once you walk to this side, it loads a whole bunch of different tiles into memory. Let me change the color palette, find the right one. There we go. That is the Ride Armor tiles loaded into memory. And then, boom. When we go over here, it loads the most of the Ride Armor stuff out of memory in order to make room for those bug sprites that it's using. So over here, Ride Armor gets loaded into memory. Over here, a bunch of other stuff that's not the Ride Armor goes into memory. But the code that is telling the Ride Armor how to draw, it is still pointing at the same place. So let's see. What does this nipple look like? That robo nipple thing over here. Oh, it stays the same. So yeah, of course, his nips are about the same as they always were. And then his shoulder pad up here doesn't seem to change at all. But let me see if I can find... Okay, what's his fist? So here's his back fist, and here's his front fist. Let's see what his front fist turns into. His front fist turns into the bottom of a wasp's head. Does that look like what's going on? Yeah, that looks like what I'm seeing here. It looks like bottom of a wasp's head is his front fist. So that's all that's going on with the memory corruption. Now, theoretically, you can change these memory places in and out really fast. You can load these, and that is actually what it's doing with Mega Man. Because look, if you look at Mega Man, let me see if I can find his sprite sheet. Okay, if you look at Mega Man, as he walks around and dashes, it actually changes what pieces are loaded into memory. But these things are not compressed the way they're saved, whereas lots of the other level graphics are compressed, and they decompress it and load it in like one step. So I would love to be able to just, I wish these were loaded in real time as different moves were happening so I could edit these things easier, but right now we're stuck with mangled graphics.
So another cool feature of BeastNest Plus is memory coloring. Like you'll look here and you see that it's just a bunch of black numbers, hex numbers, but as you run around the game, you'll see that some of it will occasionally change from black to blue, or maybe even red. Well, it turns out the blue means that this ROM here was read into memory in some way, and the red means that it was executed as code in some way. And so you can use that to differentiate what is data memory and what is program memory. Well, in this case, what does that code, what does those numbers even mean? I happen to know, after having messed with them, that this is the color palette for our mech here. So if we look at the color palette we're using here, we got a bunch of different colors, and then it ends in this blackish color. So if we hit everything with a bunch of Fs, except for these last 2 bytes, and then leave and come back so it gets loaded into CG RAM, we get a cool mech color scheme. I love this. It reminds me of that game Comic Zone on the Sega Genesis. You ever played that game? It was in like pretty much every single Sega Genesis collection. It's one of my favorite games on the console, to tell you the truth. But we're not talking about Comic Zone, we're talking about Megaman X, baby. So aside from messing with the palettes, this ride armor has a few more properties we can mess with. Like right now, we're looking at a frame of the ride armor just sitting down. And thanks to that blue highlighting that BeastNest Plus allows for, I've actually found that this right here is this particular frame of animation, and every position and which sprite is being used. Like, see this 916A? Watch his nipple real quick, and I'll teleport it around by changing this 09 to a 19. There we go. His nip's all the way on the side. So changing it back to the right position, we can change it to this 09. What I found, the way this is encoded, the way they're drawing the graphics, is this 24 here, or it's a hex 24, it tells you how many different sprites it's going to be trying to draw for this particular animation. So if I set it to 0, it breaks and crashes the game, so I'm not going to do that, because they expect you're going to draw at least 1. But I can change it to 1, and then we see that the only thing that's being drawn right there is this first one at position 9, 1, and then this 6A happens to be the position, the which place in VRAM is actually going to be drawn, that little sprite. So let's change it back to 24 and get the whole sprite, and let's switch his nipple around a little bit. So it says 6A, and that happens to be this spot right here. Now, if we look at the video RAM, there's 2 spots in video RAM. There's the one that has Mega Man on it, and then the second half of it starts with this, I guess that's a bug head or something. Well, if we actually went to 6A, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9A, you'll see that that's not the nipple sprite. Apparently what they're doing when they're drawing this robot stuff is they're adding a they're adding a value onto it. So it turns out, even though this is the start of the RAM, they're actually starting from here for 6A. So let's see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9A. So that is the 6A nipple. So in order to change it to say this guy's head, I happen to know that this is at hex 9-8. So if we just change that 6A to a 9-8, we give him a nice little nipple ring where he's got the head of some kind of robot on there. That's pretty cool. But one of the problems is that's only a single frame of animation that's affected on. When I get any of these standing animations, it completely changes. But sitting back down, even if it's mirrored, we find that that change stays in effect. So that is how we mess around with individual frames of animation. So consulting my notes here, it seems like I have, at some point in the past, found the list of where these frames of animation are actually pointed, like the table of all the frames of animation that the ride armor might use. So I guess other pieces of code would be like, if the ride armor jumps, you need to play this frame, then this frame, then this frame, and then those sort of offset to those single frame definitions that we've messed with just before this. So here we have a place in memory where this is the sitting animation, and that's the only one that's currently been loaded into memory, and it seems to be 9C, 9F, 8F. But if I jump into the mech, you'll see that all over the place this lights up, and if I punch, more of them light up. If I dash, more of them light up. So it looks like all of the ride armor stuff is right here. These are just kind of the frames of animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mangle the ride armor animations real bad and just make them all the sitting animation by typing over it, like copy pasting a bunch of 9C, 9F, 8Fs over it. And so now, while we're in our robot, it should be in its sitting animation the entire time. Yeah, so this is how you would go about, programming your own move sets or animations. The punches are still going into effect, but as you see, we've still got a sitting robot. And you'll notice that there's there's kind of an after image whenever he hits the ground. That is, again, related to the nipples. So I'm going to reset this system really, really quick here. So what's happening is whenever he hits the ground, white gunk flies out of his nipples there. And so that actually spawns another sprite that does not move along with the velocity of the main sprite. You see that white gunk that's just spraying out of his nipples when he hits the ground? That is what's causing that after image. So let me see if I can isolate that out. I'll make it into a sitting animation. Oh, I seem to have misaligned some of the animations here. I guess that happens from time to time. But you know how it is. Let's just go fight some Chill Penguin. Alright, so you are about to witness the very first battle between Ride Armor and Chill Penguin ever recorded. Now I happen to know that if I just copy-paste this gobbledygook right here, it's going to spawn a Ride Armor right into Chill Penguin's room. And then the fight starts. I've wanted to do this since I was a little kid, and I really do think that this is the only time that this is the first time this has ever happened. Okay, come on. Oh, it looks like I'm immune to his ice and immune to his blizzard. That's good. Maybe I can bob and weave. Okay, I only get so many mess ups. Gotta make this count. It looks like I stun him about half the time. Seems unpredictable. Hup. We're going for it. Maybe I should just take my time, be a little bit slower. Oh, hey, wait, no, that keeps the right armor alive if I jump out and tank a hit. Okay, no, that's not good. It looks like I might get him down to about half dead before I go all dead. Oh, not this again. I don't think I'm fast enough. Oh. This is going better than I thought it was. It looks like I'm immune to the blizzard. Oh, was that it? Yep, that was it. That was as far as I got. Time to give Chill Penguin his prize. Well, even though I didn't beat him, and I could probably redo this 100,000 times, really, I'm just going to let Chill Penguin win that one. I think we won the war here by getting to experience a boss fight versus the Ride Armor. Now, if only I could figure out how to get that into Vile's fight, then you could have a Ride Armor versus a Ride Armor. That would be the coolest thing. That might be above my pay grade, though. Anyway, this has been hacking the crap out of Megaman X. I'll see you next time.